which team should feel better after last night? Is it LA or Miami?
Oh, this is easy. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. And why? Because you're going against arguably the best team in basketball, in my opinion, the Miami Heat. One of the best coaches, one of the best defensives in the league. And so when you look at what the Lakers done and how they done it on the back of Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Although Malik Monk shot the ball like crazy yesterday, but when you look at Russell Westbrook, he got his confidence back. He got his swagger back. He started to make those elbow jump shots. He started to make those, turnaround jump shots in the post. And then most importantly, Anthony Davis is embracing the role of playing the center position. And I love what Frank Vogel is doing. He's not talking to Anthony Davis about it. He's not calling him out in the media. He's making them play the 5. And you know what? We all jump on this high, right, and think about the sprint. Molly, Stephen A., it's about the marathon. It's about how you're playing in March. It's about how you're playing in April. And here's the thing that I realized last night. We give a lot of heat to the Lakers, but the Lakers got 6 future Hall of Famers on their team. What I realized last night is that every single night, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to get everybody's best shot. So they really playing playoff games throughout the whole entire season. Every game for them is like a playoff game. So the Lakers should feel better.
I get where you're coming from, Perk. I don't agree with you on this particular issue, though. I liked what I saw from the Lakers yesterday, particularly Malik Monk. There's no question about it. He was putting up buckets. I'm wondering what's going to happen once LeBron James come back, because for me, I'm locked in and zeroed in on Russell Westbrook. He had a triple-double last night, but he also could have easily had a quadruple-double. They said it was about 8 turnovers. I counted 11 personally. That's just me. But nevertheless, I think about that. I think about the shot selection at the end of the game. I wonder about stuff like that. Here's why I'm on the Miami Heat tip in terms of this particular question. Should the Heat or the Lakers feel better off of last night? Tyler Hero is making a run for most improved player. That's number one. He's flat out balling right now. He was balling last night. We saw what he did. PJ Tucker, you know this because you did this kind of thing yourself. There's a different level of energy his presence brings to that squad. So I can't take that away. Plus, he had a dunk last night, a follow dunk. I'm like, where the hell he get those legs from? I didn't know PJ Tucker could jump like that anymore, but sure enough, he did that. That was good to see. I saw Miami going to double overtime. I saw them do it without Jimmy Butler, who obviously got hurt in the first quarter and didn't return for the rest of the game. So I'm paying attention to that. You didn't have Markieff Morris. So I'm looking at the Miami Heat, where a team that some of us would view as relatively undersized or whatever. Their athleticism, their ability to hit perimeter shots, their willingness to play together. I'm looking at the acquisition of a Kyle Lowry and how he's basically matriculated into that system as well. I'm just thinking about them right now. We got a Lowry. We've got a Duncan Robinson with a P.J. Tucker. Obviously, Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler goes down. Tyler Hero is there. I'm just watching them right now. And imagine this top 7 with Morris in there. I like what I'm seeing. And I think the kind of things that I saw from them last night are the kind of things we can expect from them as the season progresses in terms of specifically, KP, contributions from those specific individuals. You know how you can watch the Lakers and LeBron is out or a star is out and guys step up and they show out, but then come postseason time, they on the bench because those stars are back. When you watch the Miami Heat, everybody you see performing is going to be on the court for them come playoff time. That's what I like about what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking that, Stephen A., but when you think about the Lakers, just think about this. They haven't been healthy the entire season.
I agree.
And when I'm not just talking about LeBron James, but they're missing Taylor Horton-Tucker, who's a huge part, because when he comes back, I can't wait for Kent Bazemore to go straight to the bench, all right? He's just been playing horrible on both ends of the floor. And then you're missing Kendrick Nunn, who they signed to come in and play some valuable minutes for them, who got young legs, who got the energy, who has the athleticism, could pick up 94 feet. And when I saw last night they actually won that game without Rajon Rondo, let me tell you how huge Rondo is. If you go back to their last game, and go back to look how when Rondo came into the game, he changed the entire game, his energy, the way he was being a floor general, things to that nature. If he wouldn't have got ejected, they probably would have won that game by 25. So what I'm saying is, going against a team like the Miami Heat, Going against a coach like Eric Spoelstra who will mix it up. You don't know if they're in zone at times. You don't know if they in, certain type of defensive coverages. And I thought the Lakers did a great job of figuring things out. They were trapping Carmelo Anthony. They were trapping Carmelo Anthony like it was the Carmelo Anthony from the New York Knicks. And I thought Melo did other things that mattered that didn't show up in the stat sheet that made winning plays.
That's cool, but I think what you're missing, KP, is that some of the contributors and some of the expected contributors as the regular season progresses are not going to be contributors come playoff time because I don't trust that Vogel's going to go 9-10 deep. I think he's one of those coaches that's going to stick with a top 7, top 8 in the rotation and be married to that. Whereas with Miami, what you see is what you get. So if I see contributions from individuals on the Miami Heat, I expect Spoelstra to utilize them come postseason time because that's his MO. I bet he's a bit more diverse in that regard, and he's a bit more risque in that regard. He's willing to go 8 or 9 deep if necessary. But the point is, whoever you see producing for him during the regular season, he's going to use them during the playoffs. Why is Montrezl Harrell in Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital right now? Because regardless of the energizer buddy that he was, a former six-man of the year, a guy that came off the bench and produced for the Clippers for years and years and years, he comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. He shows you what he's capable of doing. He reminds you what he's capable of doing. And then come playoff time, Frank Vogel didn't use him at all. That's not Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra doesn't roll like that. What he's going to do is when you see him utilizing guys now, when the postseason arrives, I think he sticks to that, and that's what I think the difference is between Vogel and Spoelstra. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.